You know what? Matter of fact, let me ask you, host. How does Jesus look? Jesus had hair like
wool, and that's
skin like copper.
Wouldn't that describe some Middle Eastern people as well?
What we buy
exactly.
What does wool mean?
Wool is that thick, cultured, coarse,
nappy shit.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the problem. That's why you're overweight.
I'm not overweight.
Having extra weight on your midsection, you're overweight. Being fat is not genetic. That's what we need to bust that myth. Hold on, stop. Listen.
No,
It's
not.
If you don't, it takes discipline and awareness.
Exactly.
Right?
You don't think that's the man's decision?
No, that's the woman's decision because the woman is a gatekeeper.
Her job is her decision. However, if a man don't want to pursue
she
her
allows
as a
for
right,
that. Because you know what happens if
profession.
a man takes that decision? It's called rape.
I can have sex with you without your consent?
No, you cannot.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's the
No,
point.
you cannot.
Okay.
If we take
you have
it,
to
it's
tell
called
us
rape.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have to tell us, hey, I'm digging you, I like you, let's do this, right? But also you guys have to make us see you a certain way that we say, you know what? I'm gonna get on one knee and propose to you.
Gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Global Prenup, where we pursue logic and truth in the realms of politics, science, and religion. We also tackle everyday struggles such as business, relationship, and lifestyle. I am your host, Christian Castro, alongside my boy.
Your boy T Billa. Y'all make sure y'all like and subscribe the channel, man. Thank you for all the followers, the new followers, all that.
Yeah, it truly does help us, guys. So on top of that, we do have merch at globalprenupstore.com, so feel free to check that out. Not that you guys don't give a shit because you haven't bought anything.
Ain't nobody
yet.
bought shit. Fuck y'all.
So please buy something, all right, guys? We spent a lot of money. We need it. Anyways, today we have a very interesting guest. All right, she hails from the west side of Chicago. Please give a round of applause to the Hood Herbalist.
Hey, y'all. What up's poppin'? Peace to the guys, everybody. How y'all feeling? Glad to be here today.
All right, thank you for coming. Real quick, we'll introduce these two ladies next to me, to my left here. Starting to my immediate left, just give your name, location, and age.
Oh, why my age?
Okay.
For
Not that I
viewers'
care.
purposes. Go ahead.
Yo, what's up? My name is Tia. I am located here in Chicago, and I am 36.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
My name is Kayla Noah. I am 29 and I'm from Chicago.
You gotta speak up. You sounding all trying to sound all sexy and shit.
A radio voice song.
She
Yeah,
is
you
a
know,
Leo.
Kayla Noah After Dark.
Point that out. She's a Leo.
Everyone like, what is going on right now? Wait a minute. All right. Thank you for that. All right. Let's dive into it. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where did you get the name, the Hood Herbalist? How did that come about? And yeah, just give us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I am 34 years old, Chicago native, West Side. I have 3 children. How I got my name, the Hood Herbalist, I found my calling when I was 14 years old. I have 3 children, and I have 2 kids' fathers. And
2 baby daddies.
2 kids' fathers, they're in their kids' lives, not baby daddies.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, kids' fathers. My first one, we were high school sweethearts. We met when I was 13, actually turning 14. His mother is a herbalist. He was actually born and raised a vegan, never been vaccinated, any kind of anything. He's a twin. Following his family, that's how I found my calling. Immediately got in tune with his family, got to going to the mosque because he is Muslim. And that's when I realized, hey, this is my truth. So I decided to follow it. Also, when I started this, it wasn't no Google, it wasn't no internet, it wasn't none of that around. I learned authentic, and I learned through following a mentor, and that was his mother, and that's the realest. So I just want to shout out Ima, a.k.a. Ketora's Kitchen. She does do vegan catering. That is phenomenal vegan food. Y'all might want to check that out as well.
Nice. All right. So this is the mother of your first baby father?
Yes.
Okay. How long were you with him?
We broke when I was 24. So 12 years, yeah.
12 years together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite a bit of time.
Yeah, 2 children.
So how did that all come about? How did it start? So you learned it from her, but what caught your interest and how did you learn? Or what was the process of learning?
So the process of learning was, he's from the south side of Chicago. So if y'all know anything about Chicago, you know, the sides don't collide when you're young. So if you're from out west, they'll tell you, hey, don't fuck with out south. And if you're from out south, they'll tell you, don't fuck with out west. My mother was one of those people. She's also from out west. So she would say, hey, don't go out south. Don't go out south. And I still would do it. So I got to the point where I would sneak and do it. One day, this is what stood in my mind about how I found my calling. His mother used to get up, because she's been a vegan. She's about to be 70. She's been a vegan since she was 18 years old. So like I said, when I got into it with them, she was already well into being a vegan, you know? And so I spent the night over his house. I missed the train on purpose. I spent the night over his house on the couch. And when I woke up, she was burning sage. And I got asthma. So, heavy fumes like that really get to me, but that didn't. And I was like, and when I woke up, I just seen her in heavy meditation and just had to smoke around. Mind you, at that point, I didn't know what she was doing. Really, the world didn't even know what she was. It was only a select few that really knew what she was doing. It wasn't a lot of people in that realm at the time. So I asked her when she was done, I was like, hey, what's that you was burning? What was you doing? And that's when she told me, like, oh, you didn't see Jonathan doing it? Because they are Muslim, so they have like these certain names. So his name is Jonathan Jonathan, because back in biblical times, the Y was not invented. I mean, the J was not invented, sorry.
Yeah.
So it's Jonathan. So his twin's name is Joseph, so it's changed to Yosef. So it's the same with our son. His name is Jakai. It's Yakai in my household. And so that's how I remember actually getting into it. She got so many real crystals, y'all. I'm talking about, this lady is just a real deal. I don't even think at the time that she knew she was my mentor. I literally watched everything this woman did. Literally, from the cooking
All
and
right.
everything.
So what does that consist of, though? I mean, what is a herbalist? Like,
An herbalist is somebody who believes in and practices the healing properties of herbs. And
so you don't do any pills or any doctor prescriptions?
Correct.
You dismiss all of that?
correct. But I'm not gonna lie to you. I do have allergies. So let me come in contact with something and I can't breathe. Yeah, you can go and give me that Benadryl. So yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you.
I got a quick question.
Yeah.
Before you found what you're doing now, were you a Christian or did you have any religion?
I didn't know what I was, but yeah, my family followed Christianity.
Okay.
Yeah, and my mother used to actually make me go to church. I just never was in tune with it. It just wasn't my thing.
Are you
I actually
still a
live with the
practicing
pastor.
Christian now? Or no?
No, I do. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, I believe
I know
in God.
You mentioned Muslim, but
Yeah. I believe in God, and I do follow certain teachings in the Bible. However, certain things in the Christianity field is, I try not to question. So I stay out of that realm. I just take what I can grasp, because that's where your faith come in at. Just
what does
so
that
y'all
mean?
aware.
You try not to question it. Elaborate on that a
Try
little
not to
bit.
question it, meaning God did not actually write that book himself.
What does that have to do with Christianity?
So I question it. Man wrote that book.
Right, but
You
that's
don't
okay.
know.
We're all allowed to question, but what does that do for you is what I'm asking.
I try not to question it, because if I'm not actually practicing it, why am I questioning it?
But
So
do
I
you
don't-
believe it?
Some things.
Like what?
Commandments.
And then what else? I mean, if you say some things, you're saying a lot of things you dismiss, or some things, or what?
A lot of things I just don't feel like it's true. For example, and this is noted, and you can look this up. One of the things
try
that's
to look it
actually in the Bible is it actually says wives cannot refrain sex from their husbands. I do not believe God said those words.
Well,
And that's
just
actually in
so-
the Bible.
Just so that we're on the same page. People quoted what God said, but God did not write the Bible.
Exactly.
Everybody knows that.
Exactly.
But every Christian knows that, though.
So it's history, and then there's his story. And that's why I
don't know
question
what
it.
that
So
means.
because
Just history is history. So historical narrative is very important.
his story and history is two different things.
Okay, so what does that mean? I mean, elaborate on
his story
that.
meaning that's your thoughts. That's what you said. That's what you put down. That doesn't make it
So you're
factual.
talking about who when you say that?
The person who wrote the Bible.
It depends. So give me a book that you would.
They're all man-made. So
Right,
we don't
but
know if
with
God
the
actually
accounts
wrote them.
of Jesus Christ, right? Like that's what, because these people, Mark, Matthew, Luke, John, they all lived in the same time as Jesus Christ.
But they're not
These
the
are all
people who wrote
historical
and illustrated the
narratives.
Bible that you read today.
Say that again.
They're not the people who wrote and illustrated the Bible that you're reading today.
They are.
They're not.
They are.
They're not.
That's why it's named after them.
It's New and Old Testaments because New and Old things are coming
Right.
out.
So the New Testament is the historical narrative of Jesus Christ.
You don't know if that's history.
I do know that.
You don't.
I do.
You don't.
Why wouldn't we know that?
You don't.
Why
it's
wouldn't
a lot
we
of
know
things.
that?
It's a
Give
lot
me
of
a
things
good-
that you don't know.
What's your
It's a lot of
definitive-
things that we don't know.
What? Okay, so how do you come to that conclusion? What's your determining factor to come to that conclusion?
Christianity was brought up on my people for control purposes.
What's your determining factor?
My determining factor is what I do. What I was telling you, I do hoodoo, and hoodoo is African spirituality practices.
And what do Africans practice the most, though? Isn't it Christianity? Why wouldn't that be a contradiction?
That's not how we originally were. I would say that. How we originally
Of
were.
course you were.
I know you've seen the movies about the Indians chatting around fire, burning
Right.
sage.
And
That's where
happened?
sage come from.
And
Actually,
what
that's the
happened to
Indian
that
ritual.
Civilization?
What happened to
them?
that civilization?
They all
A lot of
perished.
them were stolen,
They perished.
and their religion slowly went down the drain.
They
That's
perished.
where this came into play.
Overall,
at.
they perished. Why is that?
Who perished?
All of them. The Indians and all of those false ideologies.
They perished because they was slaved and killed. Indians were actually the
So
first
how
slave
long has
people.
Christianity been alive? Since the beginning of time, yes?
It wasn't known as Christianity at the time.
Okay,
But
what was
yeah.
it known as?
It wasn't known as Christianity.
You're right, but what was it known as?
It wasn't known as Christianity.
The Gospels, right?
Yeah.
Even Muslims can acknowledge the Torah. What is the Torah?
Muslims actually, it's different branches that
But
acknowledge
they can
that.
acknowledge that. So what is that?
Hey, I'm a spiritual woman.
The Torah is the Gospels. Even the Muslims would acknowledge that Jesus Christ was real. Yes?
Yeah, Jesus Christ is real.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Now, how a Christian thinks of Jesus Christ and how a Muslim thinks of Jesus Christ is different, but Jesus Christ was real.
Exactly. So
But yes,
we have to come to a conclusion. What is your determining factor to say that the Bible was written by men and it's to control people, right? That's your
it is. It
premise,
was
pretty
brought up
much.
on my people to control us.
And
it
who's
was
your
brought up
people?
to my people. So a little bit of background about my ancestral background. I am Nigerian and I'm Dominican. On my mother's side, they are Nigerian, and it's known facts. I actually had the pleasure of meeting my great-grandmother. She died at 104 years old in 2008. Soon as Obama got elected, she died the next day. So I actually had the pleasure, and she was a slave and wasn't supposed to be. So I had the pleasure of we had the pleasure of meeting our great-grandmother. So we actually know this is facts. This ain't nothing that I read. This is things that that we were told also.
Okay.
And her mother could not read, but yet she was brought to a Christian church. And after that Christian church, she watched those same very people who brought her there kill and destroy her kind. Now, is that somebody you would follow? Like, why are you bringing me to a church and you trying to kill me here? So you care about my soul?
But wait, but we have to go back to that because you said these people, those people. Who are you talking about exactly?
I am referring to the people from the Caucasus Mountains, Caucasians.
And okay, so what do they believe?
That's their religion, Christianity. That's how it was founded.
Christianity was founded by white people. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, Christianity, white people pushed Christianity. It was founded by the Jews.
Really?
They took it and manipulated.
Where did you come up with that conclusion?
It's all facts, baby. It's all science. You can look all this stuff up.
But where?
You can look it all up though.
Where, though?
I mean, you can look this stuff up.
Where? I have
Anywhere.
looked it up.
You can look it up in
I've read a lot
books.
on it. And listen, I grew up a Christian, and there's nowhere that says that white people push Christianity. So I'm asking you,
You know what?
where?
You know why the reason why you don't know this is because you're not of black descent. So that's the
What does that
real
have
reason.
to do with anything?
It has a lot to do with
Christianity
it.
doesn't see color. Middle Eastern people are Christians. Hispanics are Christian. Again, predominantly, the Christian people are African American women, just so you know.
Now.
It's been that way.
No, it has not been that way.
Okay.
Absolutely
But
not. That's where my
nonetheless-
practice come in at.
Nonetheless, why is it that Christianity sees no color? It's just a belief. So you're saying that it was pushed by white people. Is that what you're saying?
You are aware that in the Bible it does say slaves obey your masters, right?
But that's not the same as slaves in America.
So what was that referring
It's
to?
a different context because at the time, slaves were defined as people that were a lower class. That's the difference.
You think God said
People
that?
have perverted that line, and what was used for slavery in America was that scripture that you're talking about.
Did God say that?
No, he did not.
Okay, then, which is why I question the things that's in the Bible.
But that has nothing to do.
It does.
I mean,
It
that has
absolutely
nothing to
does.
do
I
with
know
that.
for a fact that God
Because
did not say that.
No, what you're believing is the perversion of that
No.
verse. That's what you're believing.
The God that
Why
I
didn't you-
be- the
why didn't
God
you
that
look
I
into-
know.
Okay, at the time, it was the pharaohs and everybody else that were talking about slavery. Slavery wasn't even a factor of what it was perverted to in America. It was a class. So if, for an example, if my good friend Biller here was
Hell
making
no.
100,
He said, "Don't put me in this."
just take it, all right?
Well,
Anyways, that long story short, I don't want to really go deep into it, but that was perverted. That's what it was. Just like in the name of Christianity, we've had genocides. Just in the name of Christianity, we've had thousands of people killed, hundreds of millions of people killed over time. That's not Christianity. That's not the Gospels. People have perverted that and they've used that to their benefit.
And they put it in the Bible.
No, they took it from the Bible and they used it.
And they put it right. So these are things that if you're following this religion that you're looking
Again,
into.
But you understand the word perversion, right? So if I take something and pervert it and then use that, just like if a Catholic priest is a priest and he rapes somebody, then people use that and they're like, oh, Catholic priests are rapists and they're child molesters.
Now
It's the same
that's
analogy.
but it's a difference when something is actually put in writing and people are following this versus that analogy that you just used.
I got to make some sense out of it. Ladies, what is your take on all of this?
I just want to know why your grandma wasn't supposed to be a slave.
She wasn't supposed to be a slave because at the time, slavery was abolished, and she didn't know it because they couldn't read. So she was one of the people that was left behind, like how they celebrate June 16th. I'm not really a fan of June 16th because actually, if you look into that, those were slaves that were still slaves and did not know that they were slaves. So what are you celebrating?
June 19th?
June 19th.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Thus with the freedom of the leftover slaves who did not know that they were slaves. My grandmother was one of those people.
So she was originally a slave. She just didn't know that
She
it
was-
had stopped.
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so she
That was
wasn't
mis-
supposed to be.
Okay.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Don't be shy over it. Tell me, what do you think about all this?
It's a lot to unpack.
Well, what are you girls? I mean, did you grow up Christians? What did you grow up?
Yes, I grew up in a Christian home.
Yeah.
I grew up in a Catholic.
Okay, so almost the
But
same
just
thing,
like,
eh?
yeah.
Yeah,
But just like
it's the
she
same.
said, like I didn't really take any interest into
Church, same as well.
I read the Bible on my own, but I just did not I never really understood the point of going to church. It wasn't, yeah.
I think really to understand religion, that people have to understand, because first of all, religion is faith. You actually don't know if it's true or not, because ain't nobody coming back and telling you nothing.
No, you do know it's
faith.
true.
No, you don't. It's
yeah,
faith.
You do. Yeah,
it's
you
faith.
Do. There's overwhelming evidence.
It's faith.
There's overwhelming
You're running by
evidence,
what you
though.
believe.
But again, understand something. For us to believe something, there has to be some type of evidence.
Yeah.
What does it say in the Bible? Walk by faith, not
You
by
can't-
sight.
It's hard to
So
prove
nobody
things.
is coming back to tell you anything. So if you believe it,
Okay, again.
You're going by faith.
Okay, I'll go back to the same thing. What is your determining factor? What test do you have put in place to say, this is bullshit, I don't believe it? You have
I
to
never
have something.
see. That's what I don't do. I don't put.
But you have to have
I don't
something
put
in
a side that say it's actually bullshit. I just got my views and another person
No,
got
but to
theirs.
question something is fine, but then you have to dig deeper if you're questioning something,
Which is what makes me a spiritual woman and not religious.
which is fine. But
If race
So
didn't
just-
matter with this Christianity, if race didn't matter, you would see the real picture of Jesus. If race didn't matter.
how so?
It describes it in the Bible.
Tell me.
Wait, you know what? Matter of fact, let me ask you, host. How does Jesus look? Let me ask. You know, I just wait a minute.
How did you guys come
But you are
up with
absolutely
that?
right,
Here we
sis. You are
go.
absolutely right.
How
But
did you come up with that conclusion that he's black?
it's
It's in the Bible.
It's in the Bible.
in the Bible.
It's in the
Is it?
Bible.
It's
Yeah.
actually in the
Tell me
Bible.
where.
It
Absolutely.
describes how he looks.
Do you wait a minute?
He
Do
had
you
melanin in his skin, yes, for sure. He's Middle Eastern.
What is your perception
He's
of
Middle
Jesus?
Eastern.
Okay,
Middle
so how does he look to you?
He would look Middle Eastern to me.
Just please describe it. What's the image that you see of him today?
Not what they paint. I will say that, but he's Middle Eastern. Nobody knows what he looks like.
We do. If you read the Bible.
Okay, so tell me, where in the Bible does it say that he's black?
I don't know exactly where at in the Bible does it say that, but I can quote it verbatim. Jesus had
The wool hair.
hair like
Wool, and that's
skin like copper.
Wouldn't that
Copper.
describe some Middle Eastern people as well?
Wool hair?
Not Middle Eastern. Their
No?
soft. Their hair is a little bit more softer.
Yes, it is.
And silky.
It's what we buy.
Yes.
It's what we buy. That Indian
Correct.
look. It's what we buy.
Exactly.
What
Love.
does wool mean?
Wool is that thick, cultured,
Coarse.
tightly
Nappy
coiled-
shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And you
put
don't
your
see
hand through it and
Jesus
it gets
looking
stuck.
like that. You don't see Jesus. So if race didn't
I
matter,
was gonna say.
why are you not showing the true image
Exactly.
of Jesus if race didn't matter? Which is why I said I question a lot of things and I stick to my guns though.
Questioning is
Stay,
good.
I stay to myself.
I still don't disagree with you on the questioning. It's just for you to say that the Bible is bullshit.
I didn't say it was bullshit.
Well, you kind of insinuated.
Nope, I did not. No, I did not. No, I did not. What I say is, I'm going to just put it this way. With the
Okay.
Bible, take what you can get out of it. I'll put it that way. Because actually, that's the law of the land here. When you
So-
go to court,
So what do we take out of the Bible? What are the main things that we could take
the
out of the Bible?
main things that I take out of the Bible in my household is the commandments.
Okay.
You follow those commandments, you know what that makes you? A good citizen. That means, hey, you're going to be a good neighbor. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not commit adultery. You know what I'm saying? Honor thy mother and thy father. That's a huge one. People don't even know the meaning of that for real. The meaning of that means, because there's some people out here in this world that says, hey, you know what? The Bible say honor thy father and mother. My mama and daddy on drugs. Or they left me. Or I'm an orphan. What you mean, honor thy father and thy mother? Honor means exactly what it sounds like. Honor. Without them, you would not be here. It's not saying that they're right. It's saying purely honor, for your days will be longer. And I do believe that. It's just honoring. I'm not going to disrespect you should I cross paths with you.
Right.
Whatever happened in my life happened, but without you, I wouldn't be here. So I honor that. That's purely what it means. It doesn't mean that they're correct about everything.
No, I think we can agree on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got a question for y'all.
Yes.
We can start with Kay.
Oh, whoa.
Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Why? This coming from, I'm not judging you or nothing. This coming from a person who I don't even know. I don't have it all figured out. I'm just asking.
Yeah, it's a learning process, but without him, we would not be here. If you think about it, like, without him, we would not be here.
What about you?
I plead the fifth. No, I don't. I really, can't say that I believe in God, but I am spiritual. I know that there's things that is like unexplainable type of stuff. But as far as like me believing in a particular person, a being,
Isn't that contradicting though?
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Because a religion is following rules.
It's believing something
Spiritual
that,
meaning, I just know there's a God. There's a God here. I have a relationship
but she
with
just
God.
said she doesn't
God.
believe in God, but she's spiritual.
Like she just said, she questions it because, like she just said, there are certain things that you cannot
You have to
explain.
right? So that's an internal contradiction. So do you believe in God, or do you believe that there's a higher being?
I definitely believe that there's a higher being.
Okay. So then, see, that's the thing. I mean, you can't contradict it. You believe there's a higher being. You just don't understand it all the way.
Right.
Okay. That's different. You can't say, I don't believe in God, but I believe in other miracles or spirituality and stuff like that.
What I personally feel like is like, so we got social media today, right? They can manipulate us to have a kind of certain wavelength, period, right? The same thing was going on back in the day with literature and stuff. But what I believe in is like, of course, there's a higher being, and it's up to you personally to translate that into whatever you feel like it is, whether it's freaking the sun or a guy that looked like a black man or this white dude. Whatever you want to translate that to is on you personally. But you know what I mean? That's what I feel. It's a higher being. I feel like you can be on a higher frequency. I feel like if you're doing fucked up shit, I mean, you know you're running with the devil. You know what I'm saying? You can feel it in your bones. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's what I personally feel like. Whatever you want to translate it to, you know, that's on you. But that's like where I'm at with it.
Let me just say this. With every religion, and I don't care if it's even, let's just say Christianity, for example. Every race is going to think of God in their race, because when you think of God, you think of yourself. That's a reflection of you. If you believe in God, you believe, hey, God is in me. So that makes you, that's why some people say, hey, what up, God? They think of themselves like that. Not saying they're the God. They're saying, if God is in me, I believe in God. So I am a God, you know what I'm saying? So let me just say this. Every race thinks of God that looks like them. And that's including Chinese people. That's including the Jews. You ask any race, what color is God? They're going to tell you it's their race. Even a Chinese person, Buddha, they're going to tell you it's their race. That's because that's how you view yourself.
No, but that's Buddhism. That's different.
It's a religion.
Right, it's a religion.
And it's a God. They're
their
literally worshiping a
and
fat,
it's a
bald-head
false
man.
God. I will happily say it's a false God.
But it's a that's
Just
what I'm
like
saying.
Hinduism.
See what I'm saying?
Just like
and that's what I'm saying.
Hinduism, Buddhism,
and they all think of God
Islam,
in their race.
and everything.
But there's the truth.
Okay, but then that goes back to, everything's subjective then. Everything is not subjective, right? Because you're saying everybody can believe in their own God and then it's fine. It's not.
No, it's not that. It's just, that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's so many religions out there that if you believe
well, how do we
in
nail
any
down
of this,
the right one? How do we nail it down?
This is where your faith comes in. And that's what I'm telling you. This is drawn by faith because you don't know.
And
it's
how
what
do we
you believe.
empower that faith? How do we empower that faith?
By getting more in tune with you.
Yeah.
With yourself.
Being in solitude.
absolutely.
You're all
fasting.
sadly mistaken. I will say. You know why? I will say this. Because we are sinners by birth.
Absolutely.
So if I get in tune with myself, I want to drink, I want to party, I want to do fucked up shit. And that's the truth. So what we have to do is, first of all, we have to have discernment. Okay? And that's given by either being spiritual on some type of level or finding a higher, being at a different level. But not only that, but there's overwhelming evidence as to what is the right religion. And I think we can always goes back to that. So that subjectiveness or relativism, however you want to put it, it's a fallacious argument because we are sinners. We're bad people at the end of the day by nature.
We have bad thoughts.
Exactly.
By nature.
Exactly. That's my point. So,
it's uncontrollable. You're human.
So those thoughts translate to behavior. And behavior, if you have bad thoughts, you're going to have bad behaviors.
Not necessarily.
Not
Everybody
necessarily.
don't,
Exactly.
You don't have to
Not
act
all
on
the
it.
time.
Right.
I
You
get
don't
what
have
you're
to
saying.
act
I mean,
on
I
it.
think about killing somebody, right? I want to kick his ass right now. I'm not gonna do it. I get that. But what I'm saying is, the more you feed into negative stuff or whatever, if you're influenced a certain way, that those thoughts then become behavior.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then that's where it becomes a cultural thing.
It also depends on what type of demon you letting inside of you.
Well, we all deal with all types
Like,
of demons.
Yeah.
hey, you know what?
You got a point there.
Drinking is a demon.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a spirit.
Yes, it is. It's a spirit. And depending on how much you drinking, you unleash that spirit. Having sex is a demon. Depending on who you doing
lay
it with.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's true.
People,
So that proves my point. Do we really want to just believe what we want to believe? We're bad individuals at the end of the day. We're by
if
human
people
nature,
really
we're bad
go
people.
by the books, you should know that the devil does not come with horns, baby. The devil is in human form. Everybody fighting a different devil.
Exactly, but
So-
that's the
so-
point. So, we
but-
can't just go and say,
so-
"Look, this is my truth." That's kind of what I got from you. Is that what you're saying? This is my truth, and therefore,
From me being in two different realms and two different religions, I grasped it what I needed, and that led me to believe, hey, you know what? I am a spiritual being. I am not a person who's going to sit here. I don't need to follow rules to join any religion. I know that there's a God. I have a personal relationship with God. My children know who God is. Matter of fact, I just walked into my daughter's room the other day and I seen my daughter meditating. And I said, what you doing? And she was like, I'm talking to God. You know what I'm saying? And that's no following religion. This is strictly household
but it's influenced
taught.
by who?
It's influenced by me.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
That's the point.
And a lot of people do what they taught. Let me give you an example.
Influence creates thoughts.
Let me give you an
thoughts create
example.
Behavior.
Let me give you an example, though. Just to show you, a lot of us just do. I'm going to give you two examples. I'm going to keep it short. I had an uncle, right? I got an uncle. He's still alive. My grandmother cooked the meanest greens ever. My grandmother, my daddy's mother. So I'm actually a mud. Everybody is a mud. We all mix with something. My daddy's mother is Irish and Indian, okay? My daddy is high, so he's yellow. But we just look alike in the face. But we two totally different tones. Okay, so my uncle would only cook greens in a certain pot, in a certain pot, in a certain pot. So now this pot is ruined. It's been in the family so long.
Worn out.
It's gone. It's just done. I bought a new pot. Hey, here is your new greens pot. And his man, he couldn't even cook the greens right. Why is that? Because the pot that he was taught and raised up and cooking in. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Another example is you ask a person here in Chicago, particularly black people, who you vote for? Democrats. And why you vote for a Democrat? I don't know, because my mom and my daddy said.
Exactly. I was about to say the same thing.
Yeah.
People do what they're taught. It's not a lot of people who actually step out of rim and question.
Yep,
You know what I'm saying?
exactly. Yep.
Who are you?
So who
not
are
what
you
you were
voting
taught.
for?
So again, I'm going by faith. Now, if my children get older and they decide, hey, no, because they're not raised off of pork. They're not raised off of any red meat, actually. So if they get older, which 9 times out of 10 probably will happen, I'm going to go ahead and try that pork chop sandwich. You can't say that you weren't taught. You know what I'm saying? People got to dwell on their own understanding. And people pave the way for their own life, regardless of how they were raised. And I think that's the biggest picture here. You know what I'm saying?
But don't you think that at some point it becomes your responsibility as an adult to seek truth and some type of logic?
And everybody's truth is different.
But that's my point. We keep going back to that.
It's
My
faith.
truth is my truth.
And that's what I'm telling you. It's faith.
And I'm saying your truth is not the truth.
And I'm saying yours ain't either.
No, but I'm saying there is an objective
My
truth.
truth isn't your truth.
I know that. That's what
That's
I'm
what I'm saying.
So I'm
It's
saying
not that it's
there
not
has to
true.
be an objective truth.
It's
It
not
can't
that
be
it's
a
not true.
subjective truth.
It's not your truth.
But how do we find that objective truth then? That's my question. How do we
And
find that
you're not
objective-
going to like what I'm about to say, how we found that objective truth. But yeah, we got to go back in the true history of how things started.
Okay.
And the true history is Native Americans were the first slaves, but they don't teach you that in this Americanized
Everybody
schooling.
was slaves at some point.
Native Americans were the first.
Everybody was slaves.
And they were very spiritual beings. So so it goes back to what I said earlier in this conversation, chanting around fire. They chanted around, that was their prayer. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So chanting around fire, that's what they did to defeat the ill. You know what I'm saying? Actually, back in the days, they didn't even eat meat. The Indians didn't eat meat. They only ate crops. So that's that story that you hear about Thanksgiving, how it came about, the white man came with the meat, the Indians came with the crops. Who you think brought the meat over here? Why did they bring the meat over here?
Well, what's wrong with meat, though?
These people, first of all, we're not supposed to be eating meat, but these people are from the Caucasus Mountains. These are cavemen.
Where does it
These
say
are
that we're
cavemen.
not supposed to eat meat?
No, it's.
Where?
We're gonna get into that a little bit later. But I'm speaking on the history right now. The history of it is, Indians are included. We are children of the tropics, and we're not supposed to be eating meat. Why? Because we don't have the stomach acid to properly digest meat. And if we did, you wouldn't have the health issues that you have today.
We've been eating meat for thousands
And everybody
thousands of
dying
years.
earlier than ever.
No, that's
People
not true.
back in the day lived longer. Yeah, absolutely, it's
And
true.
they were eating meat back
absolutely.
then.
They were
didn't have
eating
the
very little meat
processes.
because they had very little resources.
No, they had a lot of
No,
resources. They
especially
did.
the slaves. Especially the slaves. Slaves was eating scraps, pig scraps. That's where chitlins come from. No, sir.
All right. Well, no, but people were eating meat back then.
It came from white people.
It doesn't matter where it came from, but
It does matter where it comes from.
your argument is
White
that
people,
we're not even supposed to eat
white
meat.
people have hydrochloric acid in their stomach. They have the resources. They have what they need to break down meat. Other races of the brown community do not.
Let me ask you, where does protein come from then?
Protein comes from vegetables, baby.
No, they don't.
Oh, yes, it
I mean,
does.
they do. There are
Yeah, a lot
there
of
are
meat that we
vegetables with
eat.
protein
Oh, yes,
in
it does.
But
Eat plants
where does
and
the
crops.
majority of protein come from? It's very hard to only eat vegetables and get your protein. It's extremely hard.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
I'm thick as
I promise
fuck.
you it is.
I'm thick as
Tell
fuck.
me, what are the vegetables that have a lot of protein in them? Tell me.
Chickpeas is definitely one of them.
Okay. And how many
broccoli.
per gram? How many protein?
Green beans.
per gram?
Tofu.
How many proteins per gram?
So you have to eat. It's a lifestyle.
No.
You
how
gotta
many-
eat a lot to
but my
accommodate.
question is, how many proteins per gram? Because it's extremely
I can't
hard.
tell you how
I
many
know the
proteins per
grams.
pound. It's protein, is
Yeah.
what I'm telling you.
It's not a lot.
It's
I can tell
protein.
you that.
So
you
eat
would
an
have to-
animal-
You would have to eat an enormous amount of vegetables just to fulfill your daily protein intake that you're supposed to.
Christian, baby. I can tell that you don't know a lot about science or the Bible.
Really? That's interesting. That's why I'm asking.
I could just
so
tell.
Where does protein mainly come from besides vegetables? Where does it mainly come from?
Well, because of what people have adapted to eating meat, that's where you getting your protein from. Is it good protein? Is the question.
Yeah, there's plenty of good
It's not.
protein.
It's only good for the Caucasians. Once
So what
again.
happens if you stop eating protein? That's my question.
Or
Nothing.
Meat. What you mean, protein or meat?
Nothing happens if you stop eating protein, though.
Really?
You could live
You
off
believe
of
that? Nothing happens?
You could be a fruitarian. You could be a person that only eat fruit.
And what
And
happens?
survive. It's water. That's how you're supposed to consume your water, through fruit. You could be a fruitarian.
But what is protein, though?
The only thing that's gonna happen when you stop eating protein, baby, is you're gonna be bone thin.
Right.
That's it. That doesn't mean that
and what else happens?
That doesn't mean you're not gonna survive. That doesn't mean you're not going to. It's actually stamina. It's actually you're practicing discipline that way.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. To understand
No,
what I'm
listen,
talking about, you got to understand the body a little bit, baby.
I do.
And
I
to
do, very
understand the
much
body,
so.
you have to. I'm gonna just leave you with this. To understand the body, you have to understand that 3 meals a day is unhealthy for anybody. Okay, this is what y'all been taught here in America. 3 meals a day. Okay, everybody say breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But let's just go through the facts here. You eat breakfast. Then a couple hours later, you eat lunch. A few hours, if you're doing it correctly, you're eating dinner and then you're not eating nothing else because you're not supposed to eat when the sun go down. Now, it takes approximately 12 hours to break down food in your digestive system, and your ass just ate 3 meals.
I'm going to explain something to you now.
So,
real
hold
quick.
on, wait a minute. By you eating meat doesn't even properly digest and go through the system the way it needs to because you're eating 3 meals.
That is Such a fallacy.
This is science. I'm highly. I'm in school right now to be a scientist. This is absolutely science.
It's not
this
science.
is absolutely science.
It's
not
definitely
science.
it's nutrition.
What nutrition are you following that would
The meat
back up
the meat
what you guys
breaks
are saying?
down. The meat does not break down as quickly as your vegetables and your fruit and stuff. It
Guys,
takes days.
there's something that's called the laws of thermodynamics. How much you put in your body is going to be broken down depending on your body. It's very simple. You need protein, you need fat,
You don't
and
need
you
protein.
need carbs, and
You don't need
fiber.
protein.
Yes, you do.
You do not.
Proteins are building blocks. You need proteins.
You do
Without
not.
proteins, you're going to feel pretty fucked up. I
No,
can
you're not.
assure you.
No, you're not. Especially for
I
a
can
person
assure you.
especially for a person that's been raised that way.
Okay.
No, you're not.
What happens when someone cuts carbs out of their diet? What happens then?
You'll be bone thin.
No.
Yeah.
You'll have no energy because what is carbs?
It's the sugar that gives
Exactly.
you
Fruit
energy.
has sugar
what
in
is,
it
and
that
what is
turns
sugar?
into
What is
carbs.
sugar in your body? What is sugar?
Fruit has
It's
sugar in it.
energy.
It's energy.
It's
Fruit
energy.
has sugar in it that turns into carbs.
Yes, exactly. So
So
fruit
you don't
is
need, you don't
carbs.
necessarily need meat to do that.
You do because protein specifically is building blocks.
No.
So what
the
do you
only
say
thing,
about the vegans then? The vegans that don't eat meat and they're thick and healthy that don't eat meat.
They're overeating. That's what it is. You have vegetarians that are fat. You have vegans that are fat. How are they fat if they're only eating certain things in their lives? How do you explain that then? It's the laws of thermodynamics. If you're you're in a calorie surplus,
It's what you're eating.
You have to eat to your body type.
Right. If you're in a calorie surplus, you are going to gain weight. If you're in a calorie deficit, you are going to lose weight.
yeah.
That's just simple.
Right.
So you need protein.
You do not.
need carbs.
You don't
and you
need
need
it.
fats.
You don't absolutely need it.
Okay,
not need
guys.
We can disagree then.
All
on
right,
that.
we're
We
gonna
can agree
break
to
it.
disagree on that.
Let's change it since you guys are going into the nutrition part and you're the hood herbalist. Go ahead and tell them how you feel like they should be living their life. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as nutrition and like meals per day, what type of things they should be or shouldn't be putting in their body.
Okay. So to start off, nobody should be eating before 12. When you wake up in the morning, it's best that, and it does take some discipline, but it's best that you try to eat. And if you do this, y'all, you will see a difference in yourself as far as your system, especially if you are a person with a stomach or especially if you are a person that got that extra weight, because you could very well eat fruit and be a heavy person. It just depends on your genetics. This is genetics here. It doesn't necessarily mean, you fat because you eating all that shit. Absolutely not. Some of that is genetic. Some people don't even eat like that and they just have it. And it's just like that. Yes, absolutely. Like I said, it takes a long time.
You're in a calorie surplus. That's what it means. You're eating too many fruits. That's what it means.
It takes a long time to digest food. It takes a long time. So for people that eat 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and snack in between, of course you're going to have major health issues because of that. By you following what I'm saying, and I know this may be unrealistic for a lot of people, 1 to 2 meals will do you just fine. Matter of fact, you don't even got to eat every day. Skip a day. By you skipping a day of eating, you give your body the time to heal itself. Your body is a machine that heals itself. Digestion is the biggest part of your body's function. If you stop eating, your body's going to say, you know what? Asia's heart not even working how it's supposed to. So now that I don't got to focus on digestion, let me go on and get my enzymes and let me get everything together because I ain't got to focus on that right now. I can focus on my healing. That's what fasting is for. Fasting is not a Muslim thing. Eating pork is not a Muslim thing.
Fasting is a Christian
This is a
thing.
universal thing.
It's a gospel
this
thing.
is universal. These are facts of laws that everybody just ain't been taught.
Right. But where did it come from?
Where did it come from?
Yeah.
Science.
It's in the Bible.
It's also in the Bible. You're right.
It's been in the Bible.
But people don't follow. People actually don't even grasp the concept.
Thousands of
because
years.
if you tell a person,
Jesus himself
I don't
fasted
eat pork.
for
If
a
you tell a
reason.
person, I don't eat pork, the first thing they're going to think about is you're Muslim.
Yeah.
And
That's
it's
the
not
first
a
thing.
Muslim
It's
thing.
not.
That's
It's
my
not.
only truth. That's what I'm trying to
It's a
say
gospel
here.
thing, yeah.
No, it's a universal thing. These are things that we should not be doing.
Who gave that commandment to not eat pork?
I do not know.
I don't
I'm gonna be
know.
honest with
It's
you.
in the Bible.
It is in the Bible. It sure
in the
is in the
Bible.
Bible, but I don't know who
And
said
that
it.
was given by Jesus himself, said, hey, you should not be eating anything that crawls, anything that's a scavenger, pork.
Mm-hmm.
He gives the whole list of what you should not eat and what you can eat.
Mm-hmm.
That's why animals were put here. Cows, chickens, all the good stuff that we're supposed to eat. It was all put there and all laid out. So that's on a religious aspect. Now, if you go on a scientific aspect of it, how do you explain bodybuilders? They eat 8 times a day, and they have the
bulk up.
perfect physique. How do you explain that?
They eat 8 times a day
Some of
because
them.
they're
I might
trying
be
to turn
exaggerating,
that
5 to 8
fat
times a
into
day.
muscle. Muscle weighs more than fat. They're trying to turn that fat into
and
muscle.
how do they turn that muscle?
By stuffing their fat. That doesn't mean it's healthy. That doesn't make it healthy.
No.
But let's just be clear though.
How do you build muscle?
You build muscle by exercising.
No.
Yeah, and
by
also by the
protein
things that you
intake.
eat. By the
protein.
things. But you can be
Protein.
muscular without eating protein, is what I'm telling you. You can be.
Right. So-
Absolutely.
So protein's been around since the beginning of time is what I'm getting at.
You don't have to eat meat to get that.
Right.
Is where I'm getting at.
No, you're right. You can do it from veggies, but what I'm saying is it's very
I already
hard.
do it. I've been a vegan for quite some, I mean, not a vegan, a vegetarian for quite some time now. I actually don't eat until 12, and I got 3 children. So if you don't mind,
And
if you don't mind, yeah, I'm not.
on that, we are taking a break.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We had to take a quick break, and we've added a couple people to the panel because this argument is getting a little heated here where they wanted to give their opinion. So we have, to my right, introduce yourself, brother.
What's happening? It's Dijon, a.k.a. Awesome.
All right. And to my far left, young lady, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Caprice.
All right. Well, we have 2 new guests. And with that said, we left off where we were talking about the last question I asked you was if meat is so bad, eating 5 times a day is so bad, how do we explain bodybuilders? They achieve the perfect physique that 99% of the world would love to have. Yet, if eating so much is so bad, how do you explain that? Because the laws of thermodynamics are very simple. That's scientific. So you have to be in a calorie deficit. You have to exercise, raise your hormones, whether it's testosterone or whatever the case may be, right? Weightlifting, cardio. And if you're eating properly and you have the appropriate food intake, how do you explain what you're saying?
You want me to explain that, or you want to get another input?
No, I want you to explain
You want
it
me to
because
explain
that's
it?
the argument, and then let's
'cause
have
I just
everybody
wanna make
chime
sure
in.
That, okay, yeah. I just want to make sure I ain't talking, overstepping,
No,
Okay,
you're good.
so
Go ahead.
again, exercising is one of the many things that keeps us alive. So by you eating so many meals, of course you're burning that and you're actually turning that into muscle. Do you have to do that? Absolutely not. You do not have to do that. You can very well eat one. Matter of fact, you don't even necessarily gotta eat 1 or 2 meals. You can very well eat you a handful of trail mix.
Really?
You can very well eat you some avocado.
While exercising, you're saying?
What? And then exercise. Absolutely. Them chew bars.
And you've done this
Granola
before.
bars? No, I'm not. I'm just starting getting to.
See, this is where your
I'm just
argument
starting
starts
to
to
get-
fall apart because I will tell you, as someone who's actually competed, bodybuild, that you will not be able to sustain that for very long.
You know
You'll
how
probably
much-
be able to do that for 2 days. In your mind, you'll think, oh, that's a great idea.
Do you know how much I weigh?
It doesn't matter.
It does.
No, it doesn't.
It does. And I don't eat as much as you.
Well, what does that say? Your metabolism is very slow.
No, it does not.
That's what it says.
It's genetics.
No, it's not.
It absolutely is.
No, it's not.
You're sure because of genetics.
Right. Height is one thing.
That's no.
But
height and weight is genetic.
Weight is not.
There's some people that are small their whole life.
Okay. Go ahead, Dejan.
There's some people that are small their whole life. It's genetic.
Go ahead, Dejan. I'll let you
It is
talk.
genetic.
So I just have a question. So how much do you eat a day?
I eat twice a day. Sometimes not even at all.
How many calories?
That was my next
I don't
question.
count calories.
Okay.
Because I don't have that problem to count calories.
But
I'm not eating. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'm sorry. But I don't eat high calorie things.
How do you know that if you don't count them?
I'm not eating meat. If I eat, my rice is brown rice. So if I eat brown rice, I'm not eating.
But rice is high calories, no
Very
matter
high
what.
calories.
Right, it can be. That's what I'm saying.
It is.
I don't need to mix that with it. So my rice would be a stir fry. So I will have my rice,
So you
and
add
then I will
oil
have
in
my
there.
vegetables. And my vegetables is mostly raw. So I don't even cook all my vegetables. And I'm still thick as shit.
So
Say that.
like,
hold on.
So yeah. So
Yeah.
Okay. So
And it's really high
Okay.
calories.
right.
So, your rice is stir fry.
my rice could be a stir fry, yes.
So that's a lot of calories right there in itself.
Fruit.
What is
I
that?
eat fruit throughout the day. That's a meal.
Okay, but hold on. Let's backtrack real quick. The stir fry rice. You understand that that's a lot of calories.
It's not a lot of calories.
Yeah,
it
it
depends on your portion size.
So
It depends on your portion size.
how many calories per gram in oil?
It depends on what type of oil you use.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
Oil is oil.
No. Oh, that's definitely not
Okay,
true.
so
Oh, baby.
Okay. All right. Oil is fat.
So
How many calories?
what I don't use,
How many calories of fat per gram?
so I don't use canola oil. I don't use vegetable. I don't use none of that Crisco bullshit.
It really doesn't matter.
And I actually barely even use oil.
It really doesn't matter.
And when I do use oil, avocado, which is high in fat, I use avocado. I use
Extremely
jojoba
high.
oil. I use peanut oil sometimes. I use that most of the time
Those are
around
all
the holidays.
really high in fat. They're really
But
high
these
in
are
fat.
things that you don't, so I don't cook my vegetables. I don't cook my vegetables most of the time.
Go
Most
ahead,
of my
Dejan.
vegetables
Go
I
ahead.
eat raw.
okay.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead. He's going to have a rebuttal to that.
So with modeling and acting, I kind of followed similar what he did with the bodybuilding, bulking and cutting and things like that. He's asking about the science of the oil. That's not even needed. The reason I ask how many times you eat or how much you're eating, because you're eating too much somewhere. So I don't know what you eat or how you're eating, but you're eating too much because of the extra fat on your body. That's black and white for anybody. Anytime you're eating more than you're supposed to, that's how anybody gets fat.
Some things are genetic.
No.
Yes.
No. That's
Yes.
hold on. No. That's
Absolutely.
No. It is scientific. That's a myth. That's what people that are
No.
overweight say.
No,
If you eat the proper amount of calories every day, you will not get fat.
I don't count calories because I'm not fat.
That's the problem. That's why you're overweight.
I'm not overweight.
So I'm not saying
Well,
that.
you know
hold
what?
on, hold on,
Actually,
hold
in
on.
a book term, I am
No.
overweight. But in the
If you
mind-
have no. I'm saying that to say it again, not to be disrespectful, but
yeah.
if you have having extra weight on your midsection, you're overweight. Period. That ain't got nothing to do with books or nothing. You have a back fat, a back roll. That's overweight. Anybody that have a stomach, back roll,
Or anybody
anything
that
like
has children.
So here's the thing. She has 2 children. So again, she watches what she eats. So she's a contradiction of what you're saying. She's into fitness, but you don't count calories. And that's a mistake that a lot of people make, even men. If you don't count your calories, you don't know what you're putting. You don't know how much you're consuming. If you don't count calories, then you don't know how much your body needs. So it means you're overeating. That's what fat comes from. It's not about if you don't eat the calories, genetics is not gonna make you fat. You're not gonna be fat just by default if you're not eating a certain amount of calories.
That's not true.
You might be
Every-
prone
everybody-
to gain more
everybody's
weight.
body is
Now,
different.
hold on.
Prone to
Now,
gain
you're right.
Everybody's
Now,
body is
now,
different.
You may be, calorie sensitive? You may
Yes.
be that.
You might be prone to
You
gain
may
more
be
weight
that.
easily.
That's genetic. Hold on.
That's
But,
genetics.
Hold on. But
Numbers
if
are
you
numbers,
did not,
yeah.
if I guarantee you, if you counted your calories and watched your intake, I guarantee you would see a difference when you lose weight. You wouldn't have the extra chin. You wouldn't have the extra midsection or the
extra
back. It's there. It's not triple chin, but you do got extra. That's a sign of overweight.
It's genetic. Do you know
You
what genetic
haven't-
is?
you-
Do you know what genetic is?
I'm
Can I get in this?
yes. You know what?
ahead, go ahead,
Yeah,
chime in,
you're
yeah.
a woman. Yeah, you chime in.
And I'm just saying because my family are overweight. Majority of my people in my family are overweight.
See, mine not.
And
We're not. You seen my family, right? Are we overweight?
Go ahead. Yeah.
And
No, I agree with you. I agreed with you. No, they're
Okay,
not.
right. Okay.
they eat bad. Just to be honest, everybody is bottom heavy. Like midsection is not flat. So there was a point during the pandemic, I did not get fat, but my body started looking like a box because of the stuff that I was eating, and I was not working out. My thighs started rubbing. My stomach, I started, having to tuck. But that's because of stuff that I was eating.
Right. Those are bad choices, right?
Yeah.
That you were making.
Exactly.
So,
But just
you were
keep
in a
in
calorie
mind.
surplus at the time.
Exactly.
And what that caused was for you to gain weight because, again, I go back to that. That's scientific. Laws of thermodynamics. You cannot get away from that.
It's not necessarily what you were eating. It's lack of movement, too.
I know that.
If
I'm a
you-
personal trainer,
it's-
so I know that.
Right.
I
so
know
it's
that
lack
part.
of movement. So you can eat. Avocado is a healthy fat.
Yeah,
That's a
avocado.
healthy- that's a-
It's high
but
in
if
calories.
you eat, exactly.
If you
that's what I
over-
get
if
to.
you
So
overeat-
if you're eating it and then you're sitting down, of course you're going to accumulate some pounds.
Okay.
But if you're eating it and I decide, let me get up and go, walk around for 15 minutes, it will look different, which is what I do. So things that I eat, I am a spokesperson because a lot of people do not want to change their eating habits because they don't want to be bone skinny. So by how I look, people be looking for that reassurance. Hey, I don't want to be bone skinny. That's just, I don't even like the look of me
That's
being
lack
like
of
that.
knowledge.
I've been
They
like
don't
that
understand how the body works.
But it's a personal preference. You can still have a little bit of weight on you and be healthy. I don't have any sugar issues. I don't have any high blood pressure issues. I don't have those issues.
I agree, but
because of how I eat.
you're still overweight though, and that's the point.
I have
That's-
weight on me.
I'm
And
talking
and
about
like
myself.
all
I'm
that.
talking
that's-
about
and I
myself,
like all
not
that.
you.
So-
I'm saying I could still be overweight.
So listen, so that's fine. You can love how you look. Love how you look.
Yeah,
That's fine.
and
That's cool.
that's subjective.
And
That's
we're not
fine.
right. That's subjective.
Yeah.
We're not telling you shouldn't. That's your personal preference. But what I am saying is we have to speak in facts and the truth and the
Objective
honesty.
truth.
Objective truth. And that objective truth is, so if you moved around more and you actually paid attention to your calories, then I guarantee you can still be thick like you want to be, but you'd be leaner. You wouldn't have that. You wouldn't have the back roll. You wouldn't have the extra in the midsection, and you still could be. You could be a healthier weight
And
still be thick without being
yeah.
bone thin. That's a huge misconception, especially in our community. Especially, unfortunately, with a lot of women, they're like, "Oh, okay." They say things like, "Oh, it's just genetics. I'm just big bone."
I look good.
That don't. That's
matter.
that's
It
incorrect.
is, because I literally know bigger people that's bigger than me and they don't eat shit for real.
Well,
see,
okay,
no.
you know
And
why
they
that
don't eat
happens?
shit.
Hold on.
But you know
Like,
why that
for real.
happens? You know why that happens? They've shot their metabolism. It's just like a furnace with a fire.
Yeah.
If you don't put wood in it, guess what? That fire is gonna die out. But to keep that fire going, you gotta keep throwing wood in there.
Every
you gotta
system
keep throwing
is
wood in there.
different, and once you find your curve
Metabolism
to be
is
where you want to
metabolism.
be, you know how to keep it up.
It's the same analogy. Every fireplace
If I
could
wanted
be
to
different.
be smaller,
Every
I would know
fireplace
what
could-
to do to make myself smaller. If I wanted to be smaller,
Okay.
I'm actually one of them people. I've been skinny my whole life.
No,
I started gaining weight. I want to say when I was around 23
Here,
years
I'll
old.
agree with you on this.
Okay.
The statistics show that actually girls prefer dad bods.
Absolutely not.
Everybody know, but the statistics actually show that girls don't like ripped physiques. They don't like jacked men.
No, I'm
They
with
like
the
dad
sisters.
bods.
I like me a nice.
So
Like me a big dog.
thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah,
So yeah, and it's like
We found a good group here, gentlemen. We found the right one.
it's like I said, it's somebody's preference, but a lot of people, especially our women, they need to educate themselves. They need to be better educated. So when you sit there and say, "Oh, it's just genetics," no, it's not. It takes discipline and awareness
Exactly.
to do it.
But
So hold on, let me finish.
some
Hold
things
on, let me finish. No. Being fat is not genetic. That's what we need to bust that myth.
is.
Hold on, stop. Listen.
Nope.
No,
You
it's
will,
not.
if you don't,
It is.
because if that's the case,
Yes.
hold on. America, hold on, listen. America is the fattest country it is, right?
Yes, it is. Yes,
because
it
we
is.
have access to what? More food. You go to certain parts of Africa and India, nobody's fat and obese. Think about that. Nobody's fat.
You know why though?
Why is that?
Indian people are vegans. Most of Indian people are vegans, and they thick as hell.
No. Let me
The
debunk
people that work in Subway, that own this shit in Chicago, ask them. Indians.
Hold on. But again,
hey, what's
wait.
your diet? They will tell you they're vegan.
But again.
That's why.
Hold on. It doesn't matter if you're vegan, vegetarian, or whatever you are. If you are eating too much, you're gonna get fat. Period.
Exactly.
It doesn't
I don't
matter.
eat too much.
I'm telling
I barely eat.
But that's not the
hold
point.
on.
That's not the
No,
point.
you said you eat twice a day,
the
but
point.
I eat
whatever.
twice a day.
And you can.
Hold on. That's incorporation with fruit and vegetables, raw. And
I hear that, but somewhere, listen to me. Listen to me. Your body is telling you. Now, you can be happy with this weight if you want, and that's fine. Nobody's telling you not to be.
Baby, I'm
listen to me.
205.
Hold on. Listen, that's fine.
Right.
Listen to me. Your body, when you have back roll, when someone has back rolls or something on their midsection, your body is telling you you're eating too much. However you eat twice a day, whatever you're eating is high. It's more calories than your body actually needs. That's all it is. That's science.
And that's science, and you're correct. But I will say this. I am my mother's biggest child. I was 8 pounds. Even though that might not be some big to some people, that's a pretty big baby.
My son was bigger. My son was bigger than that.
At that, when you're born like that, they do test your sugar levels because you're at a higher risk
of what your parent was.
Sugar.
So how do you
Right.
adjust
On
that?
my-
Okay, let's go with that.
Okay.
So how do you make up for that?
So I'm gonna tell you.
All
So
right.
on my father's side, I mean, they are the thick shit.
Put the mic close.
I'm sorry. On my father's side, they are thick shit. All right, it ain't too many fat. I actually, on both ends of my family, I got on my daddy's side and mama's side, both big families. Nobody's really obese. Nobody's big like that to where you could be like, damn, you need to go ahead at the gym. Nobody's really like that. We're pretty tall, pretty lean.
They're
with a
ectomorphs.
with a little,
Very skinny, right?
or with a little love handles on us, yeah. But we're not
And that's
fat.
where you have three
And
body
that's
types.
where I have. That's what I'm
Ectomorphs,
saying. Some
mesomorphs,
things
and
for some
endomorphs.
people are genetic. That's what I'm saying. I don't. Sometimes I get up and I be like, I don't even want to eat. Like my body can literally eat what it's got in there, and I'll be fine. And the only thing I'm doing is drinking water and pissing all day.
We got to get back to the basics. Listen, my question was, okay, you were born 8 pounds. Your sugar levels were a little high. You said,
No, they were not. But the doctors will test your sugar levels when you're that big as a baby to make sure your sugar levels are where they're supposed to be.
Can I jump in?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for being courageous and still speaking up and everything. Fighting the battle. But you mentioned something about being an 8-pound baby. My baby was 9 pounds, 6 ounces.
Okay.
So she was really big. But it was because I was eating a lot. Like I had fell into like a big depression in like 5 months. And from there, like she just shot all the way up. And now like she's really small. She's skinny.
I was like that.
She's skinny,
That's me.
but I wanted to go to the point that you said that is genetics and is what they're saying is actually true. It's not, because Black people do this thing where, and then I remember the doctors used to ask us when we were younger, even now, like, do you have a history of cancer? Does somebody have cancer in your family? Or is somebody diabetic? And those things aren't genetic, I don't believe. I don't believe that they're genetic. Now, I could be somebody could prove me wrong scientifically, but things like that, being obese and these diseases, they're not genetics. Now, what can be genetically, not genetics, but passed down hereditarily is your eating habits. On Thanksgiving, we all cooking greens, we all cooking all this stuff, and the way we eat could cause the same issue. And the way, what's the recipe for the sweet potato pie? What's the recipe for the Kool-Aid? And now we all cooking and eating the same thing, which could cause us to have hereditary issues, but it's not genetic. But our build is genetic. Like I could have hips like my mama.
That's it.
Wait a minute.
I could have hips. Hold on. Wait. Let me finish real quick. Because I could have hips like my mama, or I could have the same shaped head as my daddy. Those things are genetic, or mental things sometimes could be passed down, like schizophrenia, bipolar. But when we speak about like not mental health diseases, but diseases that attack our bodies, not just our minds. I don't think those things are genetically passed down.
Okay, so that's why I was asking, do you know what genetic means? Genetic is something that you're born with. It doesn't mean, you know how the doctor asks you, hey, does anybody in your family got high blood pressure? That's not genetic. What's genetic is, like you just said, I passed down those same eating habits as my fucking family members, and now I'm developing your same things.
Those are passed down habits.
That's what I'm saying.
That's not embedded in our DNA.
That's what I'm saying.
Because we could, I could have a
genetics is
baby
something
and
that
raise
you're
my
born
baby
with.
over in Africa, and she could have different eating habits because of where she
something
is.
that you're born with.
No.
Something genetic. Okay, for example, you ever seen a person with an extra finger?
Yeah.
That's genetic. You ever seen a person with an extra this? My son has it. That's genetic.
You know why
Even though
that
I
is?
don't have it, his
That's
father don't have it.
genetic
Somewhere down the
coding
line.
in their bloodline,
Okay.
that is embedded in there.
Genetic. Your
Right.
eating habits is not, like she just said, and I agree to that. That is not genetic.
Right, I thought
However,
you just
I
said-
am big.
All right.
No, that's not what I said. I'm saying, I'm trying to explain what genetic is, because
Okay, go
genetic
ahead,
is
go ahead,
things
go ahead.
that you're born with. That's genetic. If you were born with a heart issue, this is genetic. It's somewhere down the line, somebody had the same thing. This is genetic. It's not when it develops.
Let's
You know what I'm saying?
simplify it. Let's simplify
It's
it
not
real
when it
quick.
develops.
Hold on. So
Let's simplify
genetics.
it.
So to go along with what she's saying, yes, everything's are genetic. Genetically, you are a tall woman.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I was just gonna say
Genetically, you're
Yes.
a tall woman. You being overweight is a choice of how you're eating.
Yes.
That has nothing.
Yes.
Hold on, wait.
But I was also born this way.
Wait. No.
Absolutely. Yes.
We are born, and what happens with our weight and our bodies is a choice of as far as what we are eating and putting in it.
Absolutely.
You have a choice to eat more or less. It is not
You don't
something.
know how much I eat.
It's
I'm
cool.
not
Listen,
going
listen,
somewhere
wait.
and putting-
Let me finish.
Generalities, he's speaking. Yeah.
I don't have to know exactly how much you eat, or anybody that has extra weight on them. If you have a fat stomach, if somebody has a back fat, if they have extra chins, your body is saying, hey, you are eating too much. However many meals somebody may eat, I don't have to know the exact amount. It's evident. It's black and white. Weight is black and white. You either eating too much, you're eating just right, or you're not eating enough. Obviously, somebody that's anorexic, that's a choice. They're not eating enough. If you're fat, you're eating too much. It's very simple.
But I'm not
This has
fat.
nothing to do with, no.
I got
If
extra weight on me.
If
Yes.
you have, then that's fine.
Judging by my height, I'm 5'10". Judging by my height, I should be 175 at the most. Okay, I'm 205. Yes. And like I was telling you, I do not eat a lot. I do not. I'm not a person Now, when I was younger, yes. And I was skinny coming up. Even though I was born an 8-pound baby. Coming up in my high school years and shit like that, I was skinny. I'm small.
So,
you know what I'm saying?
So you may eat 2 meals a day, like you say, which is cool. You may eat 2 meals a day.
Sometimes not at all. Sometimes I skip a day and I don't eat.
Right, and that's cool. And you might do that too. But
do you understand the benefits of not eating?
Hold on. The thing is, that's good. You know, hey, if you miss a day and don't eat and clean yourself and stuff like that, because I know it's what kind of gonna say. That's okay. However, you are eating more than you need to many more days than you're skipping days.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying. Because I'm not even trying to sit and say, "Oh, you're a fat ass." I'm just saying, listen. No, because I want to be clear. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying with the extra weight, all your body is saying is, hey,
you're saying I'm eating too much
that's
for
it.
me.
For you.
Even if I'm not eating too much, I understand what you're saying.
That's it.
And I said, I'll take it.
That's not genetic. That's not hereditary. That's just wait. Say your
And
name
you know
again,
why that
Angela?
happens? You know why that happens?
Asia. I'm sorry, Asia. What happens is Asia is eating. You're not watching the kind of how much oil you're using. You're not watching your portion sizes. You're not counting your calories. So in Asia's mind, I don't eat that much.
I don't eat that much.
Asia's body is saying, Asia, this back fat says different. Asia, this extra this extra weight on the midsection says different.
Yes, it does.
That's it.
Yes. So
That's all I'm saying.
I'm aware of that. I'm aware of, I got some extra pounds.
So
on
why
me.
you say it's hereditary that you like that?
It's hereditary that I'm big bone because I don't eat a lot.
But big bone ain't got nothing to do with the extra weight.
I'm just a big bone person.
And that's
it's
nothing wrong with
genetic.
that.
On
You being
on
tall.
my mom's side, I'm tall. On my dad's side, you got the hips.
Yeah.
So even on my dad's side, they eat pretty healthy. My grandmother died. She died at what? 80.
Because I've seen fat vegans and fat vegetarians, which is ridiculous,
and
but
it can happen, and that's what I'm saying.
that's eating too much.
It's eating too much for their system, and everybody's body is different. I agree to that.
Now
but,
here's the
but hold on. Let me just say this.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I like how I am.
No, that's
Well, that's
fine.
like
That's
how-
fine.
Yeah, and that's not what this is about.
yeah.
We're not-
Whoa. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, we're not telling you not to like how you are.
I know you're not love.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you.
Okay.
You're right. I do have that extra love on me.
Yeah.
Maybe
Get the
I
camera
lose it.
on.
Right.
I wanted to be smaller, but I maintained it because I've been 205 for years. I'm not getting bigger. And I'm not getting smaller. I'm simply maintaining it because I'm
So what you eat, that's called maintenance calories. So you're staying at that weight.
It's all healthy weight.
So
This is healthy weight.
So listen.
Even though it may not look like it because I got that extra love, but it's healthy weight.
Bless
because
you.
what I'm consuming. And because I have a sit-down job and I work from home, I do a lot of
And you don't move
sedentary
around enough.
lifestyle.
It's like,
A sedentary
Yeah,
lifestyle.
yeah, hold on. Yeah, the only
I need you to be in front of the mic, Asia. I need you to be in front of the mic. We're not getting this, you know.
Yeah, the only issue was a matter of, that's hereditary, and that's just the choice. That's a choice we make. That's all.
And I will say this. Look, the other offside of it is that people that don't eat much, what they've done is they've shot their metabolism. Because I know people like that. I only eat once a day, and it's like, but what happens is you start to deteriorate your metabolism.
Yeah.
And you can rebuild your metabolism. This has been proven through countless meta-analysis that they've done, controlled studies, right? So we start eating in a structured manner,
Right.
and we start feeding ourselves the right amount of calories a day, you start rebuilding your metabolism. Your metabolism speeds up. What do? You start shredding fat.
Yeah.
That's known. So, yeah, I believe some people are like, I only eat once a day. And they're like, I'm fat like that. Well, yeah, because you shot your metabolism. You destroyed your metabolism. So you're probably only eating 1,000 calories a day, but you've slowed your metabolism down to the point where you can't even burn what you're eating.
Yeah.
So that's the other factor, too, that people don't understand that.
Yeah. And
So-
also, I want to get on females that always want to blame their midsection on their kids.
You don't agree with that? No?
I am the product of it. I have two.
Stand up and show us now.
It's a serious stand up.
Let's see. This is, how many kids do we have
I
here?
have two, and I had two. Look at this, Lord Jesus.
Hey, see, that's because you were stroking it earlier. It was like, okay.
Clark, make sure you zoom in on that, Clark,
And I had
please,
two
all the way.
C-sections, but I worked out with both of them.
Two cesarean sections?
Two. And I worked out my entire pregnancy with both.
Ladies and
You-
gentlemen,
so you
she
weren't-
has just debunked everything
So
that has been said
yeah. So
here,
what happened
all
was
right?
you just proved if you watch how you eat and not lazy even during pregnancy, you get because that's what a lot of the celebrities do. They
a lot of women
do
are
what
not
you
willing
did.
to
You
do
work
that.
But it's a matter about discipline.
Yeah.
Like that's all the celebrities do. They get with somebody that pushed them to do exactly what you did. You
And
just
you
did
know
without
what
a
the number
celebrity.
one thing is? Their diet.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the main
We
thing.
can
Yeah,
all
what you
work
eat,
out and
yeah.
everything, but guess what? If we eat like shit, uncontrolled, unstructured, you're still gonna be a fucking.
And
Don't
that's
expect
why
your body to look
that people
good,
have
yeah.
babies and their babies coming out with different health or birth defects or whatever. But because I worked out so much, I had my son early because I exercised too much. My water broke the next day.
Oh, wow.
Dead ass. I worked out so much, like my water broke, and like he was good, nice and healthy.
Guys, you guys are rudely interrupting our podcast here. Close that. Close it. No, I'm just kidding. Should we take a little break real quick then? Yeah? All right. All right. Let's jump into the some astrology. All right. For someone like me who doesn't really care about astrology, an average Joe like myself, I don't know much about it. You know, I've lived my life just doing what I need to do. Tell me, Asia, how does astrology affect all of us? And why does it matter?
Okay. So let me just start with the basics. Astrology is how space was when you were born. Okay? It's how the world was aligned. It's the time, it's the atmosphere, it's how the wind blows that affects your characteristics. That affects your, okay. Do I need to say that over? Sorry. Okay, so astrology is, it's science. It's everything in space. Astrology is how space was aligned when you were born. So the air, pollution,
So my only problem,
everything.
My only problem with astrology is that we have free will. So how do you define?
So let me explain what astrology is so that the people can properly understand. Astrology only means that a person born under your era, they're going to share the same characteristics because y'all was in the same atmosphere. That's the only thing astrology means. Numerology, your numbers, is where you get into your calling and your true being. Please keep in mind that your life decisions does affect that. But that's when you know the true you.
Okay. Ladies, how do you feel about astrology? Let's start to my immediate or my far left. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I never really believed in astrology. I mean, sometimes the characteristics of like different zodiac signs are true, but I don't believe it's like, because people kind of swear by it, and I don't believe that it's.
I don't swear by astrology. It's your numbers. That's why, if you notice, I was asking people, okay, you said you're Leo. When is your birthday? Because I want to know the number. Your number says everything.
And that's where I'm lost.
That's where I
every
get
number stands totally
something.
taken out, because they be like, "Oh, you a Virgo? Are you an August Virgo or September Virgo?" And it's just like, if it's just a Virgo, how is it so many different like aspects of it? Like, how am I categorized into something that's already categorized? So it kind of get me like.
Great question.
Yeah.
I love that question because I'm going to be honest with you. I seen the look on your face when I told you that you were Pisces Aries. And so I'm going to get into that. And the reason why that is because, first of all, the full Aries season, I'm going to just use my own sign. The full Aries season is April. The beginning of April that's the full Aries. So April 1st, you are a full Aries all the way up until April 21st. Okay, so when you are a cusp baby and you're born in another month, that means you have picked up another quality from that month. Even though you're not taking away the fact that you're in Aries and you met that threshold because of how space was, not taking that away. It means that you have picked up certain characteristics from another sign, so that makes you 50-50. So for example, and let me take her case for example. She's March 30th. So she's a Pisces Aries. Now, one of the strongest signs of Pisces, I don't care what nobody say, I don't care how nobody feel about what I'm about to say, because every sign got their strong point. And with a Pisces, why do you think a leprechaun is in that month? That's because the motherfuckers is money hungry. They gonna get some money by any means necessary. And not only are they gonna get some money, they keep their money to themselves. Most Pisces do. So I have a friend that got the same exact birthday. When I tell you, I told him to get the leprechaun charm, chatted on him, because that's what you are. That's what he does. He wakes up every morning. If a motherfucker owe this man $5, he not worried about the fact that he got millions in the bank.
See, but that's what throw me off, because y'all say most. And if something
right,
is definite,
right.
if
and
something
that's what I'm saying.
but if something is definite, like this is the definition of it.
You would never know because everybody's born different. In the time of birth, everybody's born. That's what I'm saying. Only thing astrology does is say, I have certain characteristics born with others that's born underneath my astrology, the way space was. You just got certain characteristics. It doesn't mean that you're just like them.
Yeah.
Everybody is different. Everybody. I'm not like a typical Aries. Actually, I'm April 4th. A lot of Aries, April Aries, they are, I would say, they got addictive personalities Meaning whatever they do, they do. If they smoke squares, ain't no looking no other way. They smoke squares. If they drink, ain't no looking no other way. They drink. If they just this rowdy, because a lot of Aries are. Aries, April Aries, got this aggressive ass sign. Even if you don't show it, a motherfucker can see it on your face. Like, yeah, this ain't that.
Let me ask you something.
You know what I'm
Is
saying?
it a combination of the numbers and the month, or is it just specifically numerology? Or
I like numerology. The month doesn't mean anything to me. Because the month is gonna go by your astrology sign. That's the thing to keep in mind. Whatever
But the numbers are
threshold
more
you meet,
important, is what you're saying.
the more important part when you get in depth of you is your numbers. What time of birth and what's your date of birth? That's you. Your astrology, you're gonna share those same characteristics with a lot of other people.
Okay, so my question to me is, to you, I'm sorry, is a person like me who's never believed in that and doesn't know much about it, I believe individualism is more important and free will. What's your rebuttal to that?
You are individualized.
I know, but
You're not like another Aries.
But what you're saying is that there's a template that
No.
we all follow.
What I'm saying is,
Based on that.
me and you, we're April Aries. Me and you, and we do share certain characteristics that are alike, and we do. And that's why I asked you earlier. I said you don't see.
Please
got
don't disclose those characters.
certain characteristics about ourselves. You know what I'm saying? That we, that's mutual.
Right.
However,
No, I gotcha.
I'm my own being.
Well,
I'm
so
different
asking
from
you.
you.
So, do you think that there's a template? That's what I'm asking you. Is there a template set that it's like, okay, I get that not every single person is going to be identical, but there's a template that it's like, okay, this is what this person is, and is it based on numerology or the month? Or what is it? What is it?
It's based on the month. If
Why
we're gonna say we share the same characteristics,
There you go. That's my
it's gonna
question.
be based on the month. Yes, because that's the way space was aligned. It's space.
So
it's
space
science.
has to do with that template, then, is what you're saying.
Everything is space. What you got in space right now? You got water, wind, earth, fire.
Fire, all the elements.
Okay,
yeah.
all the elements. All of those elements work together to make it work down here.
You forgot Heart. Captain Planet. Heart. You forgot.
Oh, shut up.
Don't put the camera on him. No, just kidding.
So yeah, all of those elements work together so that things work better.
Okay.
So the line down here. So
Okay.
really, because some people would say, hey, oh, you a Capricorn? I don't fuck with Capricorns. You know what I'm saying? Now, in
Man.
my opinion, most Capricorns, I find it that I don't get along with. But I have found a few that I would say, you know what? You don't even feel like a Capricorn to me. You all right. That's individualized. You feel me? Because you your own person at the end of the day. It's just, I noticed that with the certain characteristics of a Capricorn, that's what I don't, me being me, I don't align with. My energy don't align with that, with theirs, I would
Yeah.
say.
So where did astrology originate?
Ooh, that's
Greek.
Like,
mythology, or
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. It originated from Greek.
really?
Yeah, yes, it did.
No,
Yes,
I gotta Google. it.
yes,
nope.
yeah.
I would debunk that because do you know anything about the Nephilims and the fallen angels?
Yeah.
I do.
Okay, then you would agree that they were the first ones that opened that up. Greek, I'm sorry, not Greek mythology, but astrology, makeup, the art of war, all of that. Would you agree that they were the first ones that opened all of that up to human society?
But
And where does Greek mythology come from?
how can I put this?
It's okay to say you don't know.
No, I'm
Oh,
actually
okay.
I'm actually a little, I gotta think because I've studied this for a long time. Like astrology, I got into when I was in high school. So this is not something
most
that's
people do.
new to me. And that's what I'm saying. When I got into this, it wasn't no internet around. So I don't use Google for a lot of things. Now, Google is a reliable source for some things, but I'm gonna let y'all know right now. Google actually emails me and tell me to answer questions. So I know for a fact that Google is not a reliable source. So go ahead and just,
Well,
use
it
Google
depends. Well,
as your outlet if you want to.
Well, it
I'm
depends
just saying.
on. It depends on
So,
where. It depends on how
books,
and where you
I
go.
had books because that's what I grew up in, you know what I'm saying? And from what I read when I was coming up on astrology, it came from Greeks. It came from Greeks.
Well,
That's
it
where
said it
came
on Google.
What did it say?
That the Greeks
Yes,
also
it
invented
did.
astronomy.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
It says
From
And that was
astrology.
it. And that's in books, though.
But
See,
if you read the book of Enoch, they would tell you that those fallen angels actually are the ones that revealed all the secret to mankind. Would you agree with that? Have you read the book of Enoch?
I have not.
Okay.
Do you know Enoch?
I do know
In the
Enoch, but I have
Bible?
not read the book.
Can you tell me the story of Enoch based off the Bible?
You know what? I don't know it verbatim, but I have heard, and they actually have a movie out on the book of Enoch also.
I mean, I never read the book either, but when I read his name in the Bible, it shocked me based off everything that happened before his name came up. So I was just want to know if you just know the premise of.
I can't tell you verbatim, but I have heard of the book of Enoch. I haven't gotten into,
So in the Bible, was it in Genesis? Okay, they was talking about how, I don't remember the names, but it said so-and-so lived to be 800 years old and then he died, and so-and-so lived to be 500 years old and he died.
Yep.
So-and-so lived to be blah, 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 and he died. And then it said Enoch lived to be something and God took him. He was the only one in the Bible that they didn't say that.
God actually just took him. He didn't have to die. He's one of the few that God just took him.
Yeah, so when I read that, it really stood out to me. I think it's in Genesis.
It's in Genesis.
I know
And there
Jamie
is a
Foxx
book of
played that
Enoch as
person
well.
in the movie, right? Who? Jamie Foxx? He played that
I didn't even
person,
see the
book of
movie.
Enoch in the movie.
No,
I think it was
Right.
Denzel Washington.
Jamie Foxx has nothing to do with
Was
it.
it? No, I'm saying
It
they
was
came out with a
Denzel
movie.
Washington.
It was Denzel. It was
Book of
Denzel.
Eli.
Okay.
Eli.
Okay.
Eli.
Okay. That's what it is.
okay, the
Okay.
Book of
Okay.
Eli.
There you go.
Okay.
Wait, I'm confused.
Okay.
What does the book of Eli have to do?
It was a movie that
No,
Denzel
I
Washington
got it
made.
confused. I got it confused.
So
Because I'm
Denzel-
like, didn't they
Denzel-
come out
the
with a
book of
movie
Eli has
on that?
nothing to do
Okay.
with Enoch.
Right.
Yeah, she
So
got
I got it
confused.
confused. That's what he
yeah,
corrected
yeah.
me on.
No.
Correct. Okay.
No.
So this stuff run deeper than we really think.
Oh,
like that's what we
absolutely.
was
It
just talking
does.
about
It
because
does. I've never been a person that said I know everything. I'm going by what I have read
yeah.
personally.
no, but I'm
myself. You know what
just saying everything ties into everything because
Yeah.
people don't believe the Bible or don't say things about the Bible, but we live in it now. The stories just aren't as crazy, and we haven't had somebody. I don't think we'll ever get another Jesus, but.
He's
Okay,
coming
there's
back.
a
He's coming
story.
back.
Okay, he's coming back.
Antichrist.
Right.
You all be careful and you better watch
See, I don't even know about that story, so I'm not even going to speak on it because I don't want to sit up here and sound ignorant. However, I want to go back to something that happened in the Bible that was real crazy to me. I think it was in the book of Genesis too, where it said that the angels saw that the daughters of man were beautiful, and they came down and mated with them, and they had giants.
And where does that Greek mythology come from? Hercules.
Hercules,
All those guys
because
and everything.
Hercules
Exactly.
is
That's where
the
that Greek mythology
Actually,
comes from.
my son's name, his name is Adonis.
My son's
That's
name is
a-
Adonis.
Oh, really? Okay, that's a Greek name. So yeah, I'm really into Greek mythology.
Pegasus.
So yeah.
Right. So where does that come from? That originates from the fallen angels that came and had sexual intercourse. with-
like Percy Jackson, that movie.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these
Exactly.
things that we think. This is why I was talking to, and this is kind of really geared towards Dijon over there with his fucking glasses on. But this is geared towards him because we was having a conversation about how it's a thin line. You know what I'm saying? Like between the realm of when you start crossing into like spiritual things and spirituality and God and things like that, it's easy to cross into the line of doing things that you shouldn't because we're so close to it anyways. You know what I'm saying? Even in the spiritual realm, us being spiritual beings, it's easy to say, oh, I'm spiritual, so I could talk to the dead, even though we shouldn't. But you know what I'm saying? So when people start talking about astrology and all those things, I believe that there's some truth in it, but I try my very best not to bank and live in it because I don't believe that that's the way that God wants us to go, especially if he wants us to have faith and believe him. I don't think he wants us to believe in anything other than him.
Is it because of what's in the Bible that you have that belief?
No, it's just because things get...
It does.
Things
because
get...
a lot of people get witchcraft misconstrued. Like I was just saying, the practice that I do, people would call me a witch. I'm not a witch. A witch is somebody who plays with demons and who plays with the dead. So the Ouija board, that's witchcraft. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Tarot
A
is
person
too,
that
and
plays
it's in
with
the
demons,
Bible.
that's witchcraft. But there's a person, but hear me out, since we into this. Hoodoo was invented that's African spirituality. That's from Haitians. How I reverted to U.S. is because they went to New Orleans and they made it with the French. So that's where Creole come from. Okay, so a lot of hoodoo that was being done during slavery times was meant to target their slave masters because they were so scared to do anything else physical. So they would mess with them mentally. That's how they would defeat them. And some people would say, well,
Where do they learn that from, though?
huh?
Where do they learn that
It's
from?
just a spiritual, it's a religion that Africans has always practiced. This was before
where did it come
Christianity.
from?
This was before Christianity. It came from the Indians. So in the Spanish world, they call them brujas. Those are people that in the Spanish,
Wait, but
they
you said
practice the
Indians
same
weren't
line
the
of work.
first people to be slaves either. I just wanted to make sure I said
Huh?
that on this episode. Indians were not the first people to be
They
enslaved.
were. They were.
No, who was the
not.
people that were
They were
enslaved for
not.
400
No.
years? Was it the
Moses
Moses
the Hebrews.
people? Yeah,
Moses, the
let my
Hebrews.
people go.
In the U.S., Indian people were the first
Oh, in
to
the
be
US, you're
slave
saying.
in the U.S.
I thought you were saying as a people.
No, I'm saying
okay.
people would say, no, it was African Americans. I'll be telling black people, just because you're an African doesn't mean that you come from slavery.
Were
Some of us
Indians
come from
slaves
loyalty.
or were they just slaughtered?
No, when the white man, the story of how white men and Indians came together, how they say they came together for Thanksgiving, and the white man brought their meals and the Indians brought their meals. From that point on, that's how they got the idea to slave those people. Well, the Indians started dying off. And that's how they got the idea to go to African and go to other continents to get other people of color to slave. The Indians here were the first to be slaves, which is why they get a check, because this is their land.
Were they slaves?
slaves.
No,
I don't think they
it was a
were.
barter
I don't
trade
think.
system,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
no, they
It was a barter trade system.
No.
They took their stuff. They didn't enslave
They
them.
were slaves. This is something that you're not being taught.
They came in.
This is something that you're not being taught.
They invaded a space and played as if they were friends of these people. That's how they were able to manipulate them.
Wrong.
And then they slaughtered them. That's how we got Thanksgiving.
You got to look up your information. That's wrong.
So
Well, what happened?
That's
no,
wrong.
go
I just told you what happened. What happened was they ended the movie Pocahontas. If you ever watched the movie Pocahontas,
They didn't enslave
tell
them.
the
They
full
killed them and
story.
took their
No, they didn't
stuff.
tell that's how the Indians started dying off. They were slaves.
They may have brought their diseases or whatever to the Indians or whatever, but they never enslaved
there's-
them.
Indians were
There's
the
part-
first slaves in
There's
the
part
United
truth-
States.
There's part truth in
Indians
that.
were
but
the first slaves.
There's part truth in that, but it wasn't the
Indians were the first slaves.
Hold on, but hear me out. You know,
I have Indian in my family. My father's
But there's-
mother is.
You know what the part
half
truth in
Indian.
that is? It was the same Indians enslaving themselves.
My
in the
father's
very
mother
beginning.
also got a
That's what it
check
was.
for being
It was one tribe
Indian.
enslaving another tribe, and that's what they were doing.
No, they
Now,
started to die off, and that's how Indians get a check.
Can you-
Just like the Holocaust.
Can you accept that tribes were conquering other tribes in the very beginning? Can you accept that?
Same with Africans.
That's all in the
No.
Bible.
Same
Can
with
you accept
Africans.
that tribes were conquering other tribes and they were selling off? So, and here, this is a very touchy subject, but the way that Africans were even brought here is because the same Africans were selling.
Exactly.
No.
Africans.
That
Yes, they
happened.
were.
That happened.
Tribes
That
were
happened.
enslaving their own
That did
tribes.
happen, but that didn't happen. That's not how it started.
It started
how it
here.
started
It's the
from
same
the white
here.
man coming over with powerful weapons that nobody had ever seen. They had guns.
So
Everybody else had bows and
before
arrows.
they showed
Everybody
up-
else were the people of peace.
Before they showed up, tribes weren't conquering other tribes?
No, that started.
They
happening.
still do that to this day.
No,
And-
of course, to
Excuse
this
me.
day they still do it, but they do it for profit,
Excuse
which is
me.
why they started to do it when it started happening for profit, for money.
Excuse
So do
me.
you disagree with what
Absolutely.
he's saying?
Absolutely,
we brought in
Africans still
Excuse
slave
me.
their own sign.
I got tapped in.
their own kind.
Excuse me, I got
Introduce
tapped
yourself
in.
first of all. Go ahead, introduce yourself, and then
I got tapped in. My name is Sister Kenise Ill. I'm a Moorish American from Chicago, Illinois.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for being here.
Gratitude for having me just in the background because I love the whole conversation.